Okay, we'll try this again. I made a video and for some reason the sound went out on it at 16 seconds, so I'll try this again. This is my second attempt at making this video. I just called the garage. I got an estimate on my truck of $1,600, which I approved. It's a lot of money, but it's less than I thought it would be. And I believe that the owners of the garage were able to trim things down for me a bit. They were able to find ways of getting whatever's needed for less money, like the rear bumper, for example, which would have been quite expensive normally. And so I'm grateful to them for that. They're friends of mine, the people who own the garage. That's why I brought the truck there. My mechanic that I used in Perth for years and years has passed away, and so of course he's out of business now because having died, when you die it kind of forces you to go out of business. So anyway, he was good though, and he saved me a lot of money over the years, and he also had a wrecking yard, so he had access to a lot of parts anyway for older vehicles, and that helped me out many times. So anyway, I'm grateful to him for all his help over the years, and I wish he was still with us, but he's not. So anyway, he was a good guy. But anyway, here's the thing. The truck is supposed to be ready at the end of the week, so we'll see. Um, I'll call them up at the end of the week and see where we're at with it. Um, yeah, that's it. I just loaded up a video of a 1997 Mercury Grand Marquis that I used to own. It was actually one of the worst cars I ever owned. It cost me so much money to keep that car on the road. I owned it for a year and a half, and in a year and a half I put 3 complete front ends in it at $800 each time. And I never saw a car go through gasoline like that thing did. That car burnt gasoline like a dump truck would burn gasoline. It was unreal. Anyway, there was something wrong with the fuel injection. In the wintertime, I always had to fight to get it started and keep it running, and it was just constant trouble anyway, that car. It was a good looking car, but it wasn't a very good car. It ended up getting smashed up in Ottawa, and in the video you can see the damage. I made the video of the car after the accident, the day after the accident. um, it doesn't actually look that bad. You can see the front fender on the driver's side is smashed in, and it also affected the driver's door. But underneath the car, everything was all bent up. The frame and everything was bent because what had happened is the car had been knocked up onto the sidewalk, and basically it had been sideswiped by a speeding Hyundai Santa Fe and knocked up onto the sidewalk, and that's the reason it was getting knocked up onto the sidewalk. All 4 wheels were on the sidewalk. That's the reason that the car was so heavily damaged. It was written off by the insurance company. But you'll see that video anyway on my. If you're wondering what that is, that's what it is anyway. Um, Actually, I'll tell you a story again about my rough past. I gone to Ottawa to visit my sister and my niece, and the day this accident happened, and a man came into the house, just walked into the house, a young man in his early 20s, and he stood at the bottom of the stairs, and he yelled the most disgusting things up the stairs at my 16-year-old niece, stuff I'm not going to repeat here, but a lot of sexual stuff and whatnot, and really dirty, disgusting stuff. Anyway, I didn't know who he was or what he was, I had no idea what was going on, but I confronted him and I threw him out of the house. At one point, my sister got between us because I was going to take a hold of him, and she was afraid of what I'd do to him. And she told him he needed to leave because she knew that if I took a hold of him, it wouldn't be good. Anyway, he left, and then after he left, I found out some other things that he had done that, again, I'm not going to repeat here, but he was just an all-around bad guy, and he had done some things where my niece is concerned, and when she was 12. And, yeah, anyway, I also found out he was gang affiliated. He was connected with a street gang. And so when I got hit by this Hyundai, what had happened was I saw the headlights coming up, in the other lane. And I remember looking and thinking, that guy's moving awful fast. And then all of a sudden I get sideswiped and knocked onto the sidewalk. Well, the first thing I thought was, this is this a-hole that I threw out of the house, and his gang buddies, they followed me, and they're now knocked me off the road. And a bunch of 20-something-year-old punks are going to pile out of that vehicle and come after me. That's what I figured was going to happen, and I was worried because I knew I couldn't do a whole lot against all them if that was the case, against a bunch of guys, Anyway, it turned out it was just a guy like me. It was a middle-aged guy on his way home from work, driving too fast. Somebody pulled out in front of him, and he was trying to avoid them and didn't have time to look and see if there was anybody beside him, and so he sideswiped me. That's all it was, anyway. It was not what I thought it was at first, and I was glad of that, at least.